Have you been putting a lot of effort in your music productions, but nobody seems to listen? Is your mom responsible for more than half of your Spotify listens? My name is Mattie, and today in 4 steps, I'm gonna teach you how to produce music that people will listen to. These 4 steps are things that most producers overlook. They are the difference between your record becoming a hit or your record becoming a gleaming shit. If you have any sort of success or following now, I would guess that it's because you're already doing one or a couple of these things that I'm going to talk about now. But it really does take every step to make something that people will actually listen to. Step 1, use good sounds that work well together. These sounds could be from samples that you lifted off of a 1940s record, or it could even be sounds that you're recording live. Either way, they need to sound good. If it doesn't sound amazing, probably not gonna cut it. Does the hi-hat sample sound too bright? Don't fix it in the EQ, change the actual sample itself. There's no EQ in the world that's gonna give a lifeless vocal more energy. Re-record the line until you get it right. I assure you that the final product will be miles better than something that you try to fix with plugins. And once you find that great sound, surround that sound with other great sounds that complement each other. Listen to the track as a whole and decide what needs to be filled in. Keep in mind that sometimes a mediocre sound can work together with another mediocre sound. Don't ever just listen to a part in solo. Instead, listen to the mix as a whole. Step 2. Have an outstanding arrangement. Having good sounds won't mean anything if you don't have an outstanding arrangement of your song. The arrangement of your song has to do with 2 things: the song structure and the song composition. Song structure is the outline of the song. Does the song start with an intro? Does it start with a chorus? What happens after the chorus? Does it drop? Does it go to the bridge? Having a clear song structure will make the song much more listenable. Don't just put in guitar solo number 3 after the second verse because you feel like it. That will just make the listener confused. Once you have a good structure, create transitions between the sections of the song to keep it flowing. Some common things to use for good transitions would be cymbals, reverse swells, risers, and reverb. The other part of song arrangement is song composition. Song composition has to do with the literal notes played by each instrument and the frequency spectrum that they take up. If you have too many parts that conflict with each other, they will mask other instrument sounds, and the listener will skip your song. That's actually the entire point of mixing, to make it so that you can hear the instruments and what's being played. And just like with sound selection, mixing becomes 10 times easier if you compose the different parts so that they don't conflict with each other in the first place. Some of the best ways to do that is to spread out your parts by experimenting with different chords, different inversions, and different octaves for each different instrument that you have. I won't get into the music theory of song composition. That would probably deserve its own video. Let me know if you're interested in that. But if you want to make a song that people are going to listen to, you should keep that in mind. Step 3, less is more, and let the melody shine through. Music production has so many choices, instruments, so many possibilities, it's overwhelming. Don't make it overwhelming for the listener. What are the elements in your song that make it stand out? Focus on those elements and highlight them. Get rid of the rest of the fluff that doesn't need to be there. The human ear can really only latch onto 3 different melodies or parts at a time. Anything more than that will just sound messy and jumbled to the listener. If you listen to some of your favorite songs, I guarantee that at any given point in that song, there are never more than 3 competing parts for the listener's attention. These parts should work well together and should be catchy. Side note, if you're making a song with vocals, that should be the focus and the centerpiece of the song. Songs don't have to be complicated. If you use good sounds, have good arrangement and composition, then you don't need a whole lot more. If you're writing amazing melodies and you have the first 2 elements down that I've talked about, then you are probably already getting some listens. Good for you. You probably have moved on from just mom listening to grandma and grandpa and maybe even Uncle Ted. However, there's still one more step, which is probably the most important step. The majority of producers that haven't made it yet are missing. Step 4, put in the time and practice. This is the most important step. It's one thing for me as a producer to tell you to use good sounds, have good arrangement, write great melodies, but it's another thing for you to actually practice and learn how to do it. The best way to train your ear to identify good sounds that work well together is through trial and error. The fastest way to make a great song structure or great composition or even great melodies is to write hundreds of songs. There really is no shortcut to creating great music. It takes perspiration and dedication. It's achievable for anyone willing to put in the time, but it won't be handed to you. The best way I've found to practice music production is to listen to music all the time and compare the tracks I make with the tracks that I want to sound like by referencing them after I'm finished. If you can put your tracks side by side with a hit song at the same volume, that's important, then you can compare the volume of different instruments, the arrangement, the sounds, and everything else. My favorite plugin for doing that is called Adapter's Metric AB, which automatically levels gains the song so you don't have to. Another way to get better at music is to become a music disciple. Study it. Watch videos like this. Read about it. Get yourself a music production coach. Though nothing can substitute for actual practice, it can help to hear advice from other people and see how they do things. That leads me into the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. If you're looking to improve at any skill, Skillshare has courses designed to help you learn. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Skillshare is a great way to get started with music production. I personally used Skillshare when I was starting out to get a better sense of what I was doing. In fact, I'm actually a teacher myself on the Skillshare platform, where you can access all of my videos for free. Through these videos, I go through some of the deeper points on basic music production strategies. I'd also recommend checking out the course Music Production in Logic Pro 10 by Thomas George. He does a great job of describing how to get started making music and his workflow through some of his songs. If you're interested in becoming a member of Skillshare, they've provided me with a link below that can help you start a free trial. First 1,000 people that click on my link will receive a 1-month free trial below.